So you're thinking of moving to Florida, and St. Augustine has made your list on cities you might consider. Well, in today's video, I'm going to give you 10 reasons why you should choose St. Augustine versus any other city in Florida. My name's Thomas, and I work with Real Broker here in St. Augustine. So if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in Jacksonville, St. Augustine, Palm Coast, or Palatka, I'm here to help, and we'd love to do it. The first reason that people move to St. Augustine is because of historic charm. The city was established in 1565 by the Spanish, and throughout downtown St. Augustine, you're going to find exactly that. You have the Castillo de San Marcos, which is an old fort that sits right on the waterfront. You have St. George Street, which is where all the cute shops and restaurants, a very beautiful walkable area in the colonial quarter of downtown St. Augustine. Then you also have Flagler College, which was built in the early 1900s by Henry Flagler, who was the railroad magnate that really started to bring Florida and northeastern Florida to the top of mind of people that might be looking to move down here. He ended up putting Flagler College, which was originally a hotel, and now it is a beautiful college that's, I think it's been named one of the top 10 most beautiful colleges in the entire United States. The second reason that you want to move to this area is going to be the beaches. We have 42 miles of beaches here in St. Johns County, and St. Johns County is where St. Augustine is located, and all of the beaches are beautiful, and they're also humongous compared to a lot of beaches that you see across the United States. We have a pretty good amount of beachfront from the water to the dunes that protect the homes on the other side. So even if there are a ton of people at the beach, it doesn't feel near as crowded as somewhere else. I used to live in Brooklyn, Coney Island. You go down there, and obviously it's a lot more of a populated area, but like you're shoulder to shoulder with people on the beach, and it's not a comfortable feeling. Meanwhile, you go to Crescent Beach, you go to Volano Beach, and you have a lot of area to spread out, which makes it a really nice feature of our beaches here. Another great thing about the beaches is that you can drive on the beaches here in St. Augustine, and that's one of the best things too, because if you have a family, bringing all that stuff to the beach and carrying it over the dunes or maybe from the parking lot to the beach is not an easy thing to do. I had to do it myself because I didn't have four-wheel drive vehicle, and you want to make sure you have four-wheel drive for sure. But I had to carry everything to the beach. So you're talking canopy, chairs for you and your wife. We bring our dog, so I got to bring a 35-pound weight to hold my dog down so I don't got to hold on to him the entire time. You got to bring your cooler with drinks and ice and all that good stuff. You want to make sure that you're driving on the beach and get a four-wheel drive vehicle if you do move down here. I touched on it a little bit, but you can also bring your dog to the beach. Now they have to be on a leash, but having your dog at the beach, letting them enjoy the water, the sand is something that's really awesome. And the top two beaches, in my opinion, here in St. Augustine are going to be Crescent Beach and Volano Beach. Now, Crescent Beach, that's going to be because you can drive on it. It's a lot more private than St. Augustine Beach. And then you have a lot more space to kind of just get out there and not be around everyone. You don't have to hear someone's music 20 feet away from you. You can just kind of choose your own spot, and you have almost no one around, which is really, really nice. It's also, the sand is really, really soft, and it's quite nice to be out there. The other section is going to be Volano Beach. You can also drive onto this beach. It's called the Porpoise Point area. And I really, really like this beach because there's also tide pools within the beach. So you have your waterfront, then you have sand, then you have a tide pool right in the middle of everything. So if you have younger kids, if you have a dog, if you just want to hang out and not deal with all the waves, then they have these little tide pools where you can just hang out in, and it's really, really cool. And also Porpoise Point goes from the east to the west. So you can walk around Porpoise Point on Volano Beach. You can catch sunrise at the east side of it, and then you can walk around the head of Porpoise Point, and then you can get a view of downtown St. Augustine and also sunset. So really, really beautiful. Very peaceful. The third reason you might consider moving to St. Augustine versus all the other cities in Florida is because we're in the northeastern part of Florida. So when we're talking about our climate, we actually are a little bit cooler than, let's say, a Miami or a Orlando or the Keys. We also don't get hit as hard with hurricanes. The average wind speed down south is going to be like 160 miles per hour when it comes down to hurricane strength winds. And up here, it's going to be around 120 miles per hour. So the worry of hurricanes is not as big here in St. Augustine than it is down south. So if you are worried about that, that is definitely a selling point of living in northeastern Florida. The temperatures as well are also pretty great because we are in a northern part of Florida. It's still hot. I'm not going to bullshit you there. During the summer, it can get blistering hot with 100% humidity, and it could be 95 degrees every day for 2-3 weeks straight. And it can be brutal. Now, the good thing is that That's only really 3 months out of the year. The rest of the year is pretty much 80 to 85 degrees and it's sunny out. So it's really, really great in terms of the climate outside of summer. So maybe if you're a snowbird, maybe if you're just want to stay in your house for the summer, you don't have to worry about that terrible weather because at the end of the day, it doesn't really bother too many people here. You hop in your car, you got your AC, you go to your store, you got the AC blasting. So it's always something that does it bother you a little bit? Yeah, you wish it was a little cooler, but for the other 9 months out of the year, the weather is pretty beautiful. Actually, this year we had a nice springtime, and I'm also looking, hopefully, we get a nice fall time where the springtime was like 75 degrees for like a month. And typically it goes right from winter to summer. There's no springtime here in Florida. So the climate is a great reason to check out St. Augustine. The fourth reason you might consider St. Augustine versus any other city here in Florida is going to be the cost of living. Now, since the pandemic, things have changed drastically here in St. Augustine. And I'm not joking about that. If you look at the past prices of before 2020 to where they are today, they're probably almost double what they were at that time. And that's because we've had mass relocation here to our area. And when you're comparing our area versus a Miami or a Tampa, yeah, our cost of living is going to be cheaper. If we want to go to Naples, we're going to be cheaper than that area down there. But if you're comparing it to our surrounding counties here, St. Johns County is actually more expensive than it would be to live in Duval County, Flagler County, Putnam County, or Clay County. Now, there are a lot of advantages that come to living in St. Johns County, but the cost of living is only great in comparison to major other metropolitan cities. The median sale price here in St. Johns County is going to be around $550,000, and the average sale price is going to be $770,000. So a pretty stark difference when you're looking at St. Johns County versus Duval, whereas Duval County, your average sale price, median sale price is going to be around $350,000. So give and take on both those sections. The fifth reason you might want to move to St. Augustine is going to be the sense of community. Now, St. Augustine, by all measures, is a small town, and it still has that small town feel, despite what everyone says with everyone moving here and it being overdeveloped. It is definitely a small town, and if you've lived pretty much anywhere else outside of St. Augustine, Florida, you'll recognize that it is still a very small, cute, and quaint town. One of the best things for me is when I'm driving around, when I go somewhere. I went to go pick up dinner the other day, and I saw two of my buddies over there sitting at the bar. They were watching the football games, and you just say, hey, you say, what's up? And it really makes you feel like you're a part of something special here. And then also, St. Augustine's been named one of the nicest towns in Florida in terms of just how people are and how friendly people are. And I benefited from that. When I was a kid, I grew up pretty poor, and I had some really great people here in town. Even for one year for Christmas, we had a church that actually donated Christmas presents for us. And stuff like that, it's hard to replicate in a whole bunch of different areas. In terms of getting plugged into the community here, with so many people moving to our area, there's a whole bunch of neighborhoods that have brand new people that are fresh to this area that want to make friends, that want to get involved. And then you have people that are here that are doing the best that they can and also involved in the community, and they invite those people in. So that's one of the great things about living here in St. Johns County. Myself personally, I actually started something called Ancient City Alliance. You can find it on Facebook if you want, if you're interested in joining in on it. It's something like for me, for business owners, for other people to give back to the community. Just the other weekend, we ran a private event for big brothers and big sisters here in St. Johns County so that they could have a private night at the Alligator Farm, which is a great little attraction here in St. Augustine. So if you're looking to get involved, it's a great community, great sense of community here in St. Johns County and in St. Augustine. Now, number 6, this is probably one of the bigger reasons that people want to move here to our area, and that's going to be the school system. Now, if you pretty much throw a rock, you're going to hit a high-performing school here in St. Johns County. Pretty much every high school, I think there might only be one high school that is rated a B grade. Now, if you're looking at schools, if you're doing research online, take note that the state of Florida grades schools by A, B, C, D, right? Now, if you're seeing a numerical system to that where it's 1 through 10, it could be in general about right, but that's just not how Florida does things. If you go to, and I can put a link here as well, where you can go to the Florida Department of Education and you can look at all the school grades by county, and it does them every single year, so you get an update every single year on what that is. St. Johns County is one of the best performing school districts in terms of test scores. I think it's number one or number two. I'd have to double check. It was number two last year. I think it got back number one this year. But still, when you're in the top five of school districts in the entire state, that is one of the main reasons that people move here. So whether you're looking for elementary, middle school, or public school, you can find a great school here in St. Johns County. And hey, I'm kind of a product of St. Johns County here, and I think I'm doing all right. I'm not doing too bad. The seventh reason that you might want to move to St. Augustine is also going to be the tourist lifestyle. So we live in an area where people vacation, and it's a beautiful thing, right? So if you live in this area, you're going to see tons of tourists. Maybe you want to open up a business that's catered to tourism, catered to that service industry lifestyle. This is going to be the place for you, whether that's going to be a restaurant or maybe a escape room. There's tons of opportunity because of those tourists coming here into town. And maybe that's a reason you also don't want to move here, is because tourism can be bad, especially if you're looking at the summer and November, December, January, when they do Nights of Lights. Tourism can be at its peak, and it can cause some gridlock traffic. I put quotations on that because that's what the locals say here, but in reality, if you've ever been in a real city where there is gridlock traffic and you're standing still for 30 minutes not making a move, then if you're driving here, the traffic is nothing. So the eighth reason that you might want to move to St. Augustine versus all the other cities in Florida is going to be the outdoor activities. Now, we already mentioned the beach, but we didn't mention boating, because we also have miles of intercoastal, and you can also go deep sea fishing if you want. So you can go fishing out in the intercoastal, or if you want to go out in the Atlantic Ocean, you can definitely do that as well. Tons of golf here in the area too. So if you are a big golfer, a whole bunch of communities that are surrounded around golfing, even country clubs or just regular HOA communities that have golf communities within inside of them that are public and private. Myself personally, I like to get on the kayak, I like to get on the boat, and I like to go fishing. And then also, something that a lot of people don't know is, like, we have some really, really great mountain biking trails here in the area. Of course, we have bike trails as well that are a lot easier going, but we also have mountain biking trails. And for an area that is completely flat, I was pretty stunned by how great the mountain biking is here. And even, I mean, most of the better mountain biking is going to be out in Orlando and Central Florida. But you still can find some really great trails here in the area. Also, another thing that we've been seeing picking up a lot in our area is going to be pickleball. Seems like that every community is building pickleball courts. They even have an indoor pickleball court up in Jacksonville as well. That's a really fun game. I like to play that too. So pretty much whatever you want to do in the outdoor activities, you have access to do it here, aside from like skiing and snowboarding. And the ninth reason that you might consider moving to St. Augustine is going to be the arts. Now, you literally just walk around all of downtown, and from one ear to another ear, you'll hear live music over here, live music over there, piano bar over here, jazz music over there, Latin music over here. It's just a mix mash of everything you can think of when it comes down to the music art scene. And it's a beautiful thing. And that's also because we have beautiful architecture. We have a whole bunch of restaurants and bars that cater to that crowd. And being a tourist city, people want to come here and be entertained. So actually this weekend, we're going to the Sing Out Loud Festival. In September, they have, the whole month is pretty much called Sing Out Loud. And that is a free festival for the most part throughout the entire month of September, where there's a whole bunch of local acts going on at every different bar in a whole bunch of different places between St. Augustine Beach and downtown St. Augustine. And this weekend, we're going to go see Mumford & Sons and the Black Keys over at Francis Field in downtown St. Augustine. So we're super stoked on that. And the 10th reason that you would consider moving to St. Augustine is also one of the best reasons, which is the proximity to other cities, right? So if you need to work in Jacksonville, if you need to go down to Orlando, maybe you want to take the kids to Disney, maybe you want to go to Universal, we're only a couple hours from Disney. We're only 30 minutes at most to the southern part of Jacksonville. So going between Daytona, Jacksonville, Orlando, you're all within a 2 hour span. So that's a really great thing, especially if you need to travel back home, right? So a lot of people I talk to are relocating to our area. They still have family up in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and they want to do that. All you got to do, go to Orlando, hop on a flight. It's going to take you a 2 hour drive to get there. Maybe you go to Jacksonville. Jacksonville is also an international airport, which is expanding. You can take a 2 hour flight somewhere else, so going to Jacksonville International is only going to be about an hour from here. You can go down to Daytona. They also have an airport. If you want to go check out Daytona 500, that's about an hour away from St. Augustine. So within our area, the distance to other major metropolitan areas is pretty close. So I'd never lived in Orlando. I would never consider living there because the traffic, that's real traffic there in Orlando. But being a stone's throw from Disney and Universal is something great. I think next month we're actually going to go check out Halloween Horror Nights in Universal, which is they're theming it this year off of Stranger Things, The Last of Us, The Exorcist, and something else. Can't remember what the fourth one is, but talking about going and doing that. So within our area here, your proximity to cities for work and also for play is very, very close. Guys, and that is it. That's the top 10 reasons that you should move to St. Augustine versus pretty much any other city here in Florida. I've been to all of them. So if you're looking for a small town vibe, being close enough to the proximity of large cities, I would definitely consider St. Augustine because I love it here. I think it's a great little town. It's always something to do. It's not too much. It's not too little. It's right in the middle there. It's just right, just like the porridge from Goldilocks. So guys, if you have any questions about buying, selling, or investing here in St. Augustine, just let me know. Reach out to me directly, whether that's a call, text, or email. I'm here for you.